Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Spill the Chai Tea podcast. Today we are doing our drive-thru episode. Oh man, it has been a very chaotic week. The two older boys are at church camp, and then the two littles are home, and the two littles don't know what to do without their big brothers. So they've been extra chaotic, extra angsty. And yeah, I don't know, it's weird. It's only two kids, not four. So they'll come back in 3 days, 2 days. And then we'll be back to our normal, crazy, wild selves. But today I thought I would actually share a moment that happened with our family 2 days ago. And honestly, I shared about it on TikTok and Instagram. And I was really surprised that the responses were very mixed. And so I want to hear from you guys what you guys think on this one, because I am a huge advocate of we learn about everything. And so anything that happens, I think we can learn from it. You can get into a fight with your partner, and afterwards you should always sit down and say like, hey, like what can I do better next time? How can I learn from this situation? Because we're not perfect. And I don't care if we are 5 years old, 50 years old, or a million, we're never done learning, right? So, so that I would share this with you guys, and I would love to hear in the comments, like, what you guys would have done, what you guys think would have been, obviously, a better response than what I did, and I would love to just process it, because I don't think that I'm the only one that's ever experienced this, and yeah, so I'd love to talk to you guys about it. So, basically, let's go backwards. Basically, what happened is, I was shopping with with Levi and Lucas and Emmy, and we were going through TJ Maxx, and we were just kind of getting clothes for camp, and we were just having fun and getting all of our stuff, and we go up to the register, and the boys were just kind of being silly and a little bit goofy or whatever, and so was MJ, and so I was talking to the cashier about like what they were doing and just how they're silly, and she made a comment. I was like, oh yeah, I actually have 4 of them, like I have one more at home, and she was like, whoa, wait, they're all yours? And I was like, yeah, they are. She's like, are they adopted? And I was like, no? And like in that moment, and I know it is a small question, right? But with huge impact. Okay. And this is what my husband talks about this a lot. Cause he does this podcast called Therapy and Theology, which you guys should go check out. And they talk a lot about the impact of a situation versus what it actually is. And the impact of this, I felt like was really crazy, because as soon as she asked it, I was like shocked, because my kids were all right there listening, and they instantly, like Levi, like did not like it. His instant, like, I was like, okay, Levi and Lucas, why don't you guys go, why don't you guys go towards the car? Because I'm trying to get them out of the situation, because Levi's also that kid that will pop off, and like he'll say exactly what he thinks about you. And so I could see him, and he was like, and they started walking up, he was like, wow. And like they both kind of walked off. And I was like, haha, nope. And it was like an awkward haha, because I really just was shocked, and I honestly didn't know what to say. And I was like, no, they're mine. Gave birth to them both. And she was like, wow, I would be so mad. They look nothing like you. And she just keeps going. And I could have understood like a foot and mouth situation. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry I asked that. But no, it was like, I would be so mad. Like, they don't look anything like you. And I was like, oh, I actually hear the opposite. I actually hear that they look a lot like me. And she was like, no, not even a little bit. And I was like, oh, all right, have a good day. And I just like walked off. And as I left, Levi just starts going, and I can just tell he's really upset, and he's like sitting with it. And then Luke starts to get pissed off, because then I think Luke starts to realize, he was like, so we don't look anything like you? Like, so we don't look like our family? That's cool. And I was like, it's okay, guys. Like, people sometimes are just ignorant, and they don't realize they don't realize the impact of what they're saying or what they're doing. I was like, I don't think she meant it maliciously, but obviously, like, it was not okay. And then, like, Levi just starts going, and I can tell he just is about to explode. And I was like, all right, Levi, like, what are you thinking? And he was like, how rude was that question? I was like, yep, you're right. It was very rude. And he was like, Mom, think about it. He's like, either one, we're adopted, and why would you point that out? Like, why would you ask such an insensitive question to us? Because if we are adopted, that's not your story. That's not your experience. So why would you why would a stranger think that they have the right to ask us about that? Right? And the way that she did it was, you look nothing like your parents. You must be adopted. Like, he was like, it was such a rude thing. Even if we were adopted, it's so disrespectful. He's like, and obviously we're not. And so for you, like for us, he's like, you're telling me I don't look anything like my mom. You're telling me I don't belong. And that was the thing he kept saying. You're telling me I don't belong with my mom. I don't belong with my family. And I do belong with my mom. And he was just going. And so, again, we processed it a lot, and I was receiving it, and they're saying, and I was trying to like help them to understand her side. Like, she's just ignorant and she's never experienced it, and hopefully one day like she'll learn, and maybe we should have said something. And then I was just letting them know, like, not all families look alike, and that's okay. And that doesn't mean that you don't belong together, but not all families look like each other, and that's all right. Families come in all different shapes and sizes. And so in processing all of this, I shared it online, because again, I wanted to hear a little bit on what people thought. I also wanted to share the fact that like, I don't feel like I responded well, because I kind of just like, ha ha ha, and like shrugged it off instead of saying something. And I really do wish that I would have been like, oh, that's not a very kind thing to say to somebody. Like, I wish I would have still been kind, but I wish I would have like actually confronted it and actually said something, or like, oh, that's not normally something you would ask in front of a child, or that's normally not something that you should ask somebody that you just met. And so, but I don't know. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. And again, even in like me sharing this today and me sharing this online, I think the reason for it is I do think these conversations have to happen, and some of the comments that I got on social after I shared it was like, why are you so sensitive? Why can't you just realize it was just a simple question? And, going off on that. And, frankly, a lot of those people that were making those comments were white. And so I think that a lot of them have not experienced this. A lot of them don't have families that look like mine, or families that have someone that's been adopted, or, whatever. And I don't know. I don't think that question was okay. I do think it was insensitive. Like, I mean, my kids had to process that all day long, and they didn't like it. And like, to be fair, Liam didn't think it was a big deal. So like, as we went home and they were like kind of raging about it, Liam was like, guys, it's fine. Like, it was a question. Like, why do you guys care? Why does it matter? And so part of me as a mom is I had to respect all different feelings within that and just process and just ask those questions. I'm like, well, why do you not think it was a big deal? And he's like, well, I don't think she meant it in a bad way. She was just asking a question. And I was like, okay. And, it's like, we had a good dialogue on it. But again, whether you are on our end of it, where you're getting the question, or you're on the other end, I do think that you have to remember that you don't have access to everyone's life just because you're talking to them. So questions like, are they adopted? Are you the nanny? Are you the babysitter? I've even heard crazy insensitive questions like, how much was your adoption? Like, things like that. There are a lot of insensitive questions like that, and it gives them the impression that you have the right to come in and invade their privacy just because you can, and just because you have a question. So that is, I think, one end of it, is like, we all have the right to our privacy, and if you don't know someone, don't have like a very close relationship with them, you shouldn't ask those kinds of questions. Number two, like, there is the fact that my kids were there, right? Like, she should have had the wherewithal to say, there are children here, I should not ask that about them, because it did hurt their feelings, right? Or even in my mind, she could have asked the question, instantly realized that she crossed a line. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I asked you that question. And I would have been like, oh, it's all right. Like, whatever, we would have moved on. But I do think that I'm hoping that either whether she sees our video, or if, she talked to one of her coworkers afterwards, or if she experiences this again in the future, I hope she can understand like the impact of what happened, and the impact of that question and that conversation with us, and what it can have to me as a mom, to my children, and to other people in that situation. And you know what? Like, not everyone will respond in a kind way or shrug it off. So, but I am curious. I really, really, really want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you would have done in that situation, what you think I should have done in that situation, and just your thoughts and opinions on it. And again, if you don't agree with me and my family, like on our kind of thoughts and feelings so far, and again, even my family has mixed feelings on this one, that's fine. We can have a healthy conversation. All I ask is that we're just kind in the comments. All right. But I hope you guys have a good day, and I look forward to continue chatting in the comments. Bye, guys.